July is about to be incredibly bullish for Bitcoin, and agreeing with me is famous macro investor Raoul Pal, as he's saying July to September about to be the start of the epic months for Bitcoin and crypto. Let's hear what he has to say.
In crypto tends to be strong into about August, September. Then it goes choppy because of election, because nobody knows where it's going to go, what it's going to mean, and then tends to resolve itself after the election with the extended banana zone.
But why is Raoul Pal saying we're going to pump in July, even as the U.S. government and German government set to sell tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin? Well, I have a price prediction way to the upside, and we're going to spell out exactly why Bitcoin is going to pump this month. Well, if we see here, you can see we have a lot of Bitcoin about to leave the German government, because the German government holds almost 45,000 Bitcoin, totaling $3 billion. And on top of that, the U.S. government has over $10 million that they are moving to an exchange as we speak. So amidst all this selling, why are we going to be green in July? Well, Bitcoin has historical seasonal strength. As Torrin Mitchell-Hill is reporting, the price of Bitcoin historically averaged a slump of 0.35% in June, according to CoinGlass. They track the monthly returns of Bitcoin going all the way back to 2013. And this data is showing when there's a red June, when Bitcoin's price is down in June, we get a roaring July with Bitcoin averaging a gain of 7.5%. And not only that, Bitcoin has been green for 7 of the last 11 July trading periods. And not only that, it has gained 28% in the first few weeks of every July for the last 6 years in a row. Well, let's look more closely at this monthly chart. And folks, what I'm seeing here is just making me incredibly bullish, because 6 times in a row is it about to be 7. As we see here, we look, every single red June has led to a green July. 2022, when we fell 37%, we ended up gaining half of that in July. When we fell 6%, we gained triple that in 2021. And when we fell 3%, we gained 8x that with a 24% pump in the year 2020. And you can see the other 2 red Junes also led to green Julys with a 10% pump and a 21% pump. But the moral of the story here is 6 red Junes led to 6 green Julys, and we just got the 7th red June. Is the 7th time going to be the charm here? And when you look at the 28% pump for the first few weeks of every single July, you can't help but see another bullish pattern. Red June, green, nice pump right there. Another red June, another great pump. And just the story is repeating. So 6 years in a row, 6 red Junes in a row is spelling a very, very momentous green July for Bitcoin. Well, I told you I would give you some price targets, so let's dive into the charts right here. This is the parallel trading channel. Bitcoin's just been trading in for months at this point, all the way back to the first couple weeks of March. And you can see, as we tested the top, we would then come back down. And then we almost broke out of the range when we started turning green in May, flirting with some of these previous all-time highs, but got rejected. You can see we bounced along the trend line before we fell below, then started knocking against it on the upside. We see a lot of confluence around this middle zone, the middle of the trading range. You can see the last wick bounced off it perfectly, and I would say this is about as low as I'm expecting Bitcoin to go in the month of July. And so let's stretch the parallel channel all the way out to the 31st day of July here. And I would say, look at that target. That's given us roughly $55,000 Bitcoin to the top side. But you might notice a little line to the upside, and you might notice this Moonshot X. Why is DZ thinking Bitcoin has any chance, a snowflake's chance in hell, to go up that high? Well, folks, that's not even the most bullish of targets. I can't help but notice a little bit of an invalidated bull flag, but I still see a little bit of a bull flag pennant forming, and I don't want to go all the way bullish to the bottom of the range, just coming to the first range there. And if you run that out to the top, if we were to break out on the 31st, look at that. That has given us an $84,000 Bitcoin to the upside. If we were just track that pump, we are looking at a very, very healthy 32% movement to the upside. Definitely doable and not quite moonshot range, but is higher than we've seen in the past Julys with the red Junes, because we really haven't even gone higher than 24% all the way back in 2020. So 31%, definitely within the realm of possibility. But that is not the only reason why I can see Bitcoin pumping towards the end of July. We have Bitcoin Nashville, everybody. That is happening July 25th through the 27th. Typically, it seems like the Bitcoin conference ends up creating a price dump the day of, but it always seems like it wants a pump leading up to. So, hey, maybe look for some profits if we hit some close ranges towards the end of the month. But I wouldn't be surprised if something about the whales, they want to get everyone feeling bullish about Bitcoin heading up to Nashville before we put our cowboy boots on. But if you do want to ride into the sunset feeling good, I mean, if you just look at the charts here, you kind of just look at what history's done in the past with all the green Junes there, where Bitcoin has been bullish every single time we get a red June, and Bitcoin has been bullish the last first few weeks of every single July. And you listen to Raoul Pal, the famous macro investor, you can't help but feel bullish about Bitcoin, and that is why I'm thinking we could quite potentially have an $84,000 Bitcoin this month. So buckle up, get ready, and I'll see you in your Bitcoin bags at the top.